Great, the drugs are finally kicking in.
Meth. Tom knows where to touch me at night.
Show them on the Jar Jar Binks style where I touched you.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday Culture Review. We have a very full panel. We have maxed the panel. We've got everybody here. We've got the incredible.
I thought it was just me and Steven for a minute there.
No. Well, it sounded like just you.
You want to pull on my house?
Thanks for taking care of my monetization right off the get-go. But of course, we've got.
I did not say any naughties.
No, you didn't. It's true. So here we go. We got a rundown of the panel. We got Fat Steven Seagal.
I saw Love and Blunder, and I don't like it.
All right, very good. Next to him is the ever lovely and incredible Lorena Creole. Greetings, Lorena.
Greetings to everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday.
Hey, your watch party was gangbusters.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was crazy. I did not expect as much engagement as we got. For those who don't know, we did a watch party for the blockbuster Indian film RRR and had like a worldwide audience in the chat. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible, and you guys did a great job. And I was just kind of hanging there in silence as I was doing some other stuff. So well done, and I'm so glad you guys did it that way. I'm considering doing similarly, and I think it like I said, it was gangbusters. Of course, we also have the incredible Shell back here. He's here. What's up, Turtle Man?
Greetings. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being here. And then, of course, we have the Ant-Man himself, Angry Atlantean, otherwise known as the Atlantean. How's it going, buddy?
He's so cute, and he's a boomer.
And he's muted.
Is he muted? He's muted.
No, he's muted.
I forgot to unmute myself after the intro started.
No worries, brother. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. You dropping some content here.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped the new. Did you watch the video I dropped?
I did.
Did you watch the redo that I did?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Because I sent you a link for that. Because I sent you two links. I sent you the original. I sent you the redo. The original is private now because.
Oh, okay. I didn't get to see the redo, but I will. So guys, go check out Atlantean's channel. He does have a new video up,
especially number 5 because it's not lethal.
What now? All right. Well, moving on. We have AFK Bard. What's going on, AFK? How you doing?
What's up? Not much. I'm just chilling today. Happy Sunday, y'all.
Hey, any Stranger Things watching? Have you watched it?
I've watched it all. I want to do a video, but I just haven't got off my butt. So if somebody wants to do a video with me, it's incentive. So there you go.
I bet you Ian would. All right. Well, moving on, we have the incredible and longtime panelist, my friend Wes Moody of the Whatever Cast. That's his new employer here on YouTube. How's it going, Wes?
It's going great. So we just crossed 315 subscribers on Whatever Cast.
Wow.
And we're rapidly rebuilding to where the old channel was. So it's great to be here with this amazing panel. And, of course, the best chat on YouTube.
That's right. So check out Wes's Whatever Cast if you haven't already. Of course, we have our own author here today. We have the Mirasphere's Origins. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. Well, thanks for having me again. And hail to all of you in the chat, you sexy bastards. And buy my book.
That's right. Buy my book.
My book.
Buy my book.
Batman
Also,
merch.
want to shout real quick.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the launch of the Rippaverse.
Yes, it is. Very excited.
I cannot wait.
Same here. Yeah, I actually made reference to it in one of the videos I recorded for this week. So I have to say Eric July did a great job with that, and we should all aspire to be content creators in that way. So well done, and all the hard work and everything he's put into it definitely is about to hit the payoff, and I think it's worth it. Speaking of a hard worker, somebody who's creating their own stuff, we have the talented Makani Draws. What's up, buddy?
I am I'm doing great, man. I'm very I still can't believe it that I am because I just gained 3 more, so I'm like 93 away from crossing that finish line, and we are going to do a huge celebration right after this. So Makani Live is going to be straight up 900 subscriber celebration. I'm gonna have a lot of guests, so panel's gonna be full, and I can't turn the camera on because I've already shown one teaser enough. So you're gonna have to wait until the show to see it in full. But yeah, huge 900 subscriber celebration. I cannot thank every one of y'all for this freaking journey, and it has been a journey for me. So
we do appreciate.
I can't believe it. I still wake up and I cannot believe we're so close right now.
Did anyone else get invited?
Are you gonna finally show everybody that you're Asian?
Yes.
That's also not true. But speaking of things that aren't true, we have our good friend Tom from Midnight's Edge. What's up?
I'm
Tom?
not true. What?
No. Yeah.
You're always true, Tom.
I mean, I'm a ghost.
Yeah, you are. You're
Ghost of $500.
I'm not here, and I don't owe anybody money anymore. Yes.
You owe me money.
Fuck you.
Oh gosh, already with the $500. All right. Well, we have a lot of great folks that are joining us in the chat. So let's without further ado say hi to everybody. We will have an abbreviated show, folks. It'll only be about an hour today, barring anything unforeseen breaking as far as news goes. We got Dr. Dragon here, Hank VP. We've got Sean Estep, the lovely Sherry. Mirror Spheres here promoting his book. Buy his book, please. Klaus is here. We've got Emotionally Unstable Amphibian here. We've got Trav 101 here from the UK. Wes is on the panel, of course. We've got a $2 super chat from our Australian brethren. He says, "Hail, brother." Mr. Grant Gregory. Thanks for the $2, man. Let's see. Fat Elvis is in the house. I think I already said hi to Dr. Dragon. We got D Bud Martin out there. We got Punk Waddle out there. Look at all these folks. Pinochet is here. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours is here. I haven't done that. I'm on time.
You have a $5 super chat.
It still gets here every time.
Amazing. Can't wait to get there. We've also got Duck Nation in the house, so it's good to see you, my friend. Mutant Bamhammer. There, I can read. You can't tell I have a headache, can you? Is here saying, "Oyos, all my boyos." Indeed. The lovely Lorena Creel, who's joining us, is on the panel and in the chat. We've got Judicon. What's going on? We got DS Ford out there. Keely Chow. KR Nut 82. Tim's Talk. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Tim.
And let's see. Oh, Philip A. Demick is here. Good to see you, my friend. Tim released like a I think that was a TikTok or something on Twitter. I got to see of him saying that working out is an art form. I think is something. I thought that was kind of interesting. Good job. We've got deleted scenes out there. What's going on, Steven? Who else is rolling through the chat? If I missed you, it wasn't on purpose. Hey, what's up, Atwood? Agent Atwood out there. The ever lovely Tina Bojan is with us. RRR, drink. That's right. Anytime anybody mentions RRR, that's the new drinking game.
Okay.
Oh, it's a good movie.
We've got just another red shirt. Hail, Mr. Shirt. Let's see.
What if they roll their R's? Does that still count? Yeah, I don't have that much alcohol. Come on.
Oh, all right. We've got Pinochet's Helicopter Tours for $2 saying, "Hi, CC and panel. The Terminalist is worth a look." I will be watching that, actually. It's fourth on the list right now. I've got two films to get through because I've got to do part one of the films as a review on Thursday. So we've got Robert Hammer out there saying Russianing. That's right. I'm speaking today, let me tell you. We've got Sean Landrigan out there. Goodness, you guys, thanks for being here. Look at all this amazing.
Cosmic Squirrel.
Checking in from the cosmos.
That's right. Checking in from the cosmos. We have Christine the Killer Car. Greetings, love. She says for $5. Hello, everyone. Been a while. Well, thank you for
Christine.
Hello.
It's good to see you. I get to see Christine here and over on Lorena's channel. So I think that's wonderful. Thank you for that. TZ Burton's in the house. Good to see you, bud. And so many more. So many more. You guys, we got Eric K out here. What's up, Eric K? Gosh, this place is crazy. Yeah, young Ripa plus Ripaverse equals love fire. Yeah, indeed.
Dude, I can't wait.
Hashtag we will win.
Yeah, we will win. He's not wrong. Okay, so we really only have one subject to talk about, everybody. I think you all know what it is.
Something that didn't win, I guess.
Well, I don't know that I would put it exactly that way, but it didn't make the numbers they were anticipating. Let's just put it that way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder rises to 143. So this is where the folks over at The Wrap and a lot of other publications are settling in.
Wait a minute.
On the estimated box office earnings for this weekend. 143, which is well below what they originally predicted, which was somewhere between 150 and 170.
Oh my!
So what you're saying, his other hammer wasn't strong enough to drive.
It's not even that. This movie, I'll give credit. The intro I found was great. Okay, the introduction of Bale's character Gore was very well done. As soon as that is over with, the movie just becomes unentertaining at this point forward. It is no longer about Thor. It is about Thor's unintelligence throughout this film under the guise of love, and it's just not good, in my opinion.
Lorena, do you have thoughts on this? The numbers, anyway.
Oh, hold on 1 second. The numbers. This movie was going to make money. Let's not kid ourselves.
No.
It's going to make money. It's an MCU movie.
Yeah.
Even in the parks, like I said on an earlier video I did when I went to ride Cosmic Rewind. Okay, the day that opened to the public, they had MCU merchandise out the ass. The creation stop, and most of it for Thor: Love and Thunder. Guardians of the Galaxy with characters were in this movie as well. So it's gonna make money. I think it's gonna drop the way that Doctor Strange did. Doctor Strange 2. I think it's gonna be a big drop for the coming week. I have not personally gone to see this movie because I do not like what has been done with the character of Thor since Ragnarok. So I'm not impressed. So I'm not seeing this until it shows up on Disney Plus, and then I'll see it there. But I'm not going out of my way to see this. I would much rather, and I had much more fun going to see the Minions with my nieces and nephews and going to see Elvis.
Yep.
I gotta go see Minions. Is that good?
Minions is better.
It's a really good family movie. I mean, if anything, it actually pays attention to the lore before it. Like my nieces and nephews who grew up with the Minions, like one pair was they were like 15 and 16. They loved it because it's the movie that they remember from like when they were 3 or 4.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's a movie I would actually take my kids, so I would actually go to the theater.
Yeah, it's fun.
The problem, if I can add with that, is the problem with this film in general is, like I said, the Thor 1, we get introduced to Thor, who is in his own ways of Asgard, how things are going down. So he's very naive. He's very, very negligent. He's lost all his powers. Now he's handling himself on Earth. And from that to this, he has had some type of growth up to Endgame, right? This movie ignores all of that and literally makes him a wandering imbecile, lost puppy for love. And it literally doesn't even feel like it's for Ragnarok. It's not for 7-year-olds. It has no consistency. It's not even consistent with some of the MCO stuff. And it's a film you can have on the background, but you won't turn your head that much to it, in my opinion. And yeah, the soundtrack might be great, but they reused a lot of the songs more than once and a lot of tropes a lot of times. Especially, let me tell you the tale. Like, it's like woke titties forgot how to use more creativity within each titty, and it's the truth. That's the way. I see it.
He's definitely trying to milk it. That's for sure. Speaking of which, go ahead, Tom.
I was just say, I mean, clearly, I have to eat a little bit of crow.
Okay.
I mean, let's preface this first of all by saying Doctor Strange didn't have any competition at all in comparison.
Right.
But when you have this movie dropping on Thursday and Rise and Minions, is still giving it a run for its money, like that's a problem.
Right.
And this box office it is a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no if and buts rounds. It's like what 25% behind Doctor Strange.
It is. Wow. I think it actually says in the article. Let's look.
Okay.
250 domestic run. Okay, so they think it's going to go somewhere between 325 and 350 million domestic run. The audience reception continues to be an unprecedented trend of milder audience reception for a wildly popular MCU. So they're admitting that even people are not all that pumped by this film. Okay, here we go. Dark Strange earned a B. They're talking about the falling off of it. So Thor: Love and Thunder got a B plus. Dark Strange got a B. I thought they had mentioned in this article where it was.
The last was like a 20% drop on Saturday.
The Doctor Strange 2 was 187 opening.
And actually, they're hiding Friday's drop from Thursday as well, because it made it's 69 from Thursday to
Friday was soft.
And they made 29 already from Thursday. Yeah. So, it made a little bit more on Friday, but technically it should have almost doubled that.
Yeah, it was pretty soft indeed.
Word of mouth from the previews did not help the movie.
No, it really didn't. And when you look at it, I mean, you have a film like Top Gun Maverick doing 600 million, and then globally it's over 1.18 billion now. This film's nowhere close to it. It's not even going to get close.
The problem is the way this came out. It feels like it was a farce. With a Thor title, it felt like it was a farce of a Marvel film rather than actually being an MCU film.
Yeah. And
Thor is supposed to be one of these people that everyone knows about. It's one of those names like Spider-Man and everything else because it is the God of Thunder. He is powerful. Yeah. And what did they do? They took it and made him a Neanderthal.
Well, what this does, Stephen, beyond that part of it, I mean, I'm not going to get into that aspect of it. What this does do is no longer gives them the excuse to hide behind when they release shit like Shang-Chi and these other movies and say, well, it's not an Iron Man. Right? It's not Chris Evans. No, bullshit. This is Chris Hemsworth. I was saying all last week leading up to this movie and cultural, and this is why I got to eat a little crow. I was saying this movie was going to perform over Doctor Strange because of the fact that it's Chris Hemsworth Thor. And the fact that it underperformed this much shows how much damage has been done to the MCU.
Well, I think it also is just like it's Chris Hemsworth, but there's two different things, right? I would watch a movie that has like 2.5 hours of him just chopping wood without a shirt on. Let's just be honest. That's what Chris Hemsworth is. But this is him getting a pie in his face for 2.5 hours kind of thing. And people who like him don't want to see him be a complete fool. So, I mean, in that respect, I can completely understand why it's not so hot.
I think that's a part of it too, but we're also coming off the biggest of all the Thor films with Ragnarok. You have the same director, most of the same cast, same kind of tone going into it. But I think that Doctor Strange and the way that Disney has kind of lost the faith of the customers. And we've reached this phase of the Marvel Universe where I think a lot of the general public is turned away from it. Like, they just don't give a shit anymore. Right? Like I was saying, like Andre made the comparison, and other critics have too, that this movie is like, if Ragnarok was Batman Forever, this is Batman and Robin, right? And I made the point that not only is that accurate, this movie feels like it also comes from that era of superhero movies. Because that was as we were just tapering off from the success of Batman and getting a bunch of Batman clones, and just before X-Men and Spider-Man. So it was before what we would call the modern comic book superhero movie era. So this feels like it comes from that era. So to me, I'm like, are we getting to that point of the MCU now where it is just diminishing returns from here on out? It could very well be.
I think, and I mean, Small Time makes that point, and I think that's probably true. 6 is going to try to help it reach the box office projection that she thought it was going to get there. But I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see where this ultimately ends up. Of course, our good friend Ian from across the pond. He's weighing in under his Rebecca Gold account. You can check out this series, Rebecca Gold, this web series on YouTube for free. It's worth it. For £10, my friend sends this, says, Thor Love and Thunder, lousy script, tries too hard to be funny at the expense of the drama. So much that you end up not caring about the outcome of any situation. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ouch. That's an ouch.
It's true. Like when you get to a level of comedy, all suspension of disbelief, it's just like goes out the window, because it's just like, how can I care about this person if they don't even care what's going on in the scene?
That's the other thing too. And honestly, this is criticism. I'm never going to crap on anyone who enjoys it. If you enjoyed it,
no,
hell yeah to you. I wish I could find it. But the thing that bothers me is like they were trying to crack jokes. And there was a scene literally where Jane is in bed because of her stage 4, whatever. And you don't drop a joke before you're talking about something serious. And this is the thing, you're trying to make levity, but you're taking away the seriousness of what these things are. You're trying to have themes, but then you're downplaying it with comedy before or after. Like you don't know where the comedy is supposed to be delivered.
It would be the equivalent of baby Peter cracking a joke at the bedside of his mom in the first
or Bambi laughing and pointing.
Right?
Bambi laughing and pointing at his mom got crushed by Godzilla's foot. You're not getting the delivery point right, and that's why I can put under the farce thing. But it's not really a farce; it's a farce.
Well, I don't know if it'd go that far, but it's equivalent of like right after Bambi's mother getting shot. If Bambi went, well, shit, Christmas is going to suck this year.
It is. It's like
that's really what it is. That's like the caliber of jokes we're getting out of this. Really,
would that be a Taika Waititi's redo of Bambi?
But God.
Don't give him any ideas.
He'd play Thumper.
Yeah, don't give any ideas.
But that puts the retrospect to that. Are we going to get this title also if Woke Titties actually gets his Disney?
Star Wars? Yeah, he's not getting it. I mean,
his Star Wars movie is the Schrodinger's cat right now of Hollywood.
Yeah,
one story says that it's coming out and it's being fast tracked and it's on the way. Then you got him on the other side saying, "Oh, I haven't even seen a script yet." It's like, you're one of the co-writers, motherfucker. It's like, how have you not?
Well, then you're not wrong, Tom.
So he's either trolling us to beat hell, which that's the problem.
Doing Ryan Johnson. So he's doing a Ryan Johnson kind of.
No, what I mean is he could be fucking. This is the problem with Taika Waititi. I can't take a goddamn thing he says seriously anymore.
No,
because he could be saying that because they've already written the damn script. You know what I mean? Like he's just fucking with us in public, because if this movie does come out next year as it's supposed to be already, then yeah, the script has to be done. They have to be in heavy pre-production. And whether that story is true about Natalie Portman or not, I think he made that up just to be funny. See, that's his sense of humor.
Yeah. But let me read this real quick, Tom, and you can continue, because Tina, I'm glad you like the movies, and I think Fat Steven is too. We all think it's great that you're digging it. They are family events, and the opportunities to get together with family, whether it be a movie, a dinner, whatever, those are points in time not to be missed. Yeah. So when you have adult children, you treasure the time together, whether or not its product is as good as it could have been.
And that's cool. And that's not what we're really talking about, Tina. Yeah. What we're talking about here is that a lot of people can accept exactly what you're saying, Tina. You can go to this movie and accept the fact that it's, like the second or worst Thor movie behind Dark World, or just as bad as Dark World, or whatever. And that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable enough and people are not going to enjoy it. Shit, the guy next to me in the theater seemed to enjoy it better than everybody else in the theater. Mm-hmm. But what I noticed was majority of the audience just wasn't into this. And that's what I'm saying, is we have this group of people out there that are these Marvel stans that are just insistent on forcing it down the throat of everybody that every single Marvel movie is a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. It's the best, most triumphant Marvel movie since the last. And it's like, no, it's okay for one of these movies to fail once in a while.
It's like they just watched Schindler's List, but because we put Marvel Studios Schindler's
List.
Right.
No, you're right. You're 100% right, Steven. That's just it. I've even seen some critics come out and try to defend this shit. And it's like, well, if you don't like the movie, then it's on you. It's like, no, motherfucker, it's a bad movie. It's like, that is the old age-old fucking argument. It's like, okay, it's one thing to say that, yeah, sure, I may not like pineapple on my pizza, but if the chef burns the fucking pizza, it's like somebody coming up to me and saying I shouldn't complain because it's burnt and just eat it because it's still pizza. It's like, no, it's a burnt pizza. It's fundamentally wrong.
That's actually a really good analogy, because, in those arguments, they're like, well, it still has diced tomato and, chicken on it and stuff, which you like, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to justify why someone should eat the pizza if they don't want to. But if someone enjoys eating that pizza, that's
Go
totally
for it. You
cool.
can have mine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like,
There's also
chunk mine down if you want. Yeah.
There's also another analogy you can actually put to this as well. Is like everyone has used to buy CDs or buy albums. We didn't like every song on an album. It's the same with the MCU. You're not going to like every song on the MCU album,
right?
And the fact, like, and yes, your tastes change over time as you evolve, as you grow up. But it doesn't change the fact that not everyone is going to like everything off an album. Not everyone is going to like everything. No one likes every episode.
And that's a
season.
subjective argument. But the objective argument here is, I feel like, and I'm asking you guys this all on the panel, and I'd love to get, if culture would allow us to all kind of give a quick answer.
Yeah,
do you feel like we've reached like the Police Academy 7 point of the Marvel universe here? Like, I'm sure, like, Steven clearly gets the analogy, but like, you know, where it's a Police Academy movie, but it's barely a fucking Police Academy. You know, like, it's the same thing here. Yeah, it's an MCU, but is it?
Well, that's a good question.
We got a yes out of Lorena and Steven already. So, Shelly, I think you're next.
Wait, there are 7 Police Academy movies?
And
sadly, yes.
Yeah.
And the TV series.
I only thought there were 3. What the hell?
Only 3 that
There's
really
3
matter.
good ones, yes.
Yeah, 3 that matter.
Although I will say, I did love Citizens on Patrol.
Citizens on Patrol is good, yes. So 1 through 4, yes.
Okay. What about what is it? The Land Before Time? There's like 13 or 14 of those.
There is. You're not wrong. Yeah.
Yes, there is.
All right. So time out. So Lorena said yes. Fat Steven says yes. Tom says yes. AFK, yes, no, maybe so.
I didn't really understand the question. Sorry.
Well, like, okay, let's
barking.
rechange the analogy. Like, have we reached like Land Before Time Part 9 levels with the MCU?
Oh, even better, yeah.
Oh, I would glean more towards the Scary Movie franchise if
Either
I were
way,
doing that.
whatever.
But yeah, I think we rolled over the cusp, and now we're just, every scene is look, remember, funny, for a lot of it. But that's not saying you can't get joy out of it, but definitely kind of like when you're sitting there and they're like, here's the 5th or 6th of this installment, and you're like, but I really liked the first ones. Why don't I just go watch those ones again? Yeah, that's kind of like where I am.
Yeah, Atlantean. So has this reached the Batman and Robin tipping point now?
Oh man, this has reached the Western in the time of the 80s period.
Oh.
That's what.
Ouch!
Wow.
Without having seen the movie yet, I honestly think that we're like on the last clone of like multiplicity.
Oh, but Steve.
Are you saying we're at the Pluto Nash levels of Marvel?
Oh, wow. These are shots fired, everybody. Okay, so who hasn't yet?
Oh, sorry.
I haven't seen it.
No. Shellbach, did you fire in an answer?
Yeah, I think we're on Steve.
Yeah. Okay,
multiplicity.
All right. Okay, and then Mirror
Okay,
Sphere,
Steve.
Did Mirror Sphere fire in an answer?
No, not yet. No, like I can understand what they're about families. Right now, I have 5 kids. My wife works as a late night nurse. I never get a chance to go to the movies, rarely. And if I do, I'm not gonna waste my money on a shitty film just because my kids don't even want to see this anymore. Like Phase 1, Phase 1, Phase 2 would come out. It's like, hey, an Iron Man movie's coming out or Spider-Man movie's coming out. They were so excited because they'd be like, all right, new Spider-Man movie, let's go. I'd be like, hell yeah, and I would spend the $80 to go freaking see a movie and get popcorn and stuff. No, my kids couldn't care less. They're like, oh, look, another Thor movie. I don't care.
Wow.
Here's what gets me, though. It's
like Star Wars, if they don't care. They're just like, nah, I'd rather watch YouTube.
Mock, let's get your perspective, man.
Okay, before I get to my answer, I want to address Tina. I want to just one thing for Tina.
Yeah.
Tina, you're an MCU fan. You're not an MCU stan. There is a difference in my eyes. Because an MCU fan is someone who's a legitimate fan, and what you said enjoys what it is. An MCU stan is someone who cannot say, like what you guys are saying, that whatever film is the next best film since the last film, and will immediately go on a tirade and go on and attack people for saying that they don't like this certain MCU film or have criticisms for it. There's a huge difference between that. Tina, you're an MCU fan. you're not an MCU stan.
Amen.
But don't insult yourself. Don't ever degrade yourself.
Oh yeah, Tina would never dream of attacking.
No.
me.
And what were you going to say, Shelly?
Yeah, Shell.
Oh, I was just gonna say that we all the time that we've heard the male gaze, and like when Frost with her, I'm not here for your, to be easy on the eyes for you. And every time I turn around, if I see a Thor Love and Thunder freaking commercial, it's the one where freaking was it Russell Crowe plays Zeus, right?
Yes.
Where Zeus like makes his clothes go poof and they're just all staring at his butt cheeks. It's like, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Speaking of burnt butt cheeks, or looking at people's butt cheeks, Pinoche Helicopter Tours for $2 says, "Eat burnt pizza or you're a bigot. Obey the message." There you go. And then Daryl Bro follows up with $5 saying, "Thank you, Daryl." Says, "Just dropping in to say hi. Can't stay. Heading out to celebrate my birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Daryl.
Go see Go see.
You know we have to sing now, right?
No. There many.
Happy birthday
to you. I'll just get a headache, so let's make it.
Stay on the singing A. We want to keep people.
Dear
it like
Daryl
a monkey.
Happy birthday to you.
No, but to
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear.
No, but to
I
guess for my question, I guess to answer your question, I pretty much agree with every analogy you guys have made. We are gone into that phase of the MCU. It's just not worth. It's not excitement anymore. And to be fair, I think out of all kind of the series in the MCU that has the kind of with the sequels and everything, I always thought Thor's series was the most undermined, underutilized, and probably the weakest to have the weakest sequels, if you know what I mean. Because you look at Captain America, 2 amazing sequels. In the first film is criminally underrated. Iron Man, it kickstarted it. The second film, to me, I liked, although it's mixed opinions. Third film, everybody liked, I thought was a colossal disappointment. Ant-Man, first film, solid, fun, enjoyable as hell. Second one, not so much, just kind of meh, kind of hitting those moments. Avengers, first film, amazing, masterpiece, one of my all-time favorites. Loved Age of Ultron. Infinity War is in my top 2, and then Endgame is, I like it, but it has so many fucking problems. Sorry for cursing. It has so many freaking problems that I could spend all day talking about it. Thor, to me, has the weakest, and I feel like it's a character that has been completely underutilized. And when Thor has, like Spider-Man, Thor has such a great mythos that it can exist within its own part of the 616 universe. And I think they underutilize it and undercut it every step of the way. It's not really. I like the first Thor. I did not like Dark World mainly because everything they did on Asgard and the other 9 realms was great. But in moment they brought back the Stellan Skarsgård, Kat Dennings, and Natalie Portman, it was just like, go back to Asgard stuff. That's more entertaining and more enjoyable. This comedy shit just isn't working. Ragnarok is a mixed bag. There are aspects I like it, aspects I didn't like it, and I was on the MCU after Endgame, so I have no interest in Love and Thunder. So that's.
And I actually loved Ragnarok. Unapologetically.
I didn't.
Yeah, look,
I think it ruined Thor, or not Thor, but it ruined Hulk World.
I don't know. I mean, no, the Dark World is the worst Thor film, and I think I agree.
I don't remember Dark World. Honestly, after this last one, I'm not so sure about that. I might actually would rather watch Dark World again. No, I'm not kidding. Because at least Dark World has the shit with him and Loki in it. That stuff's good.
Those are great.
Tim's talk. I mean, Tim was in here and he hit it right on the nose. We don't talk about Dark World. Dark World is one of those films that we just go, okay.
Well, and that's the other problem is this movie. It would have been a better movie, or I think it would have been more, at least it would have made more sense and been more well received had this been the second Thor film, because it makes more sense story wise. Because basically the lesson that Thor learns in the first movie is exactly why Gore hates all the gods in this movie. The lesson that Thor learned, right? So it makes complete sense. Oh, here we go. We got the boss man in the house.
Boss is here. Hey, yeah, the boss is here.
Hey, Andre.
Hey, Andre.
I like that. You're probably right with that, Andre, because Lady in the Water was the first crack in the Shamalama Ding Dong.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Or would you say this is more like The Happening? Which one came first? I can't remember. The Happening was bad.
Happening was bad.
No, I think it was Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water might have came first. You
That
might
was
be
at the
right.
motel, right? The one with the pool.
Wow.
It's the one of the Bryce Dallas Howard's first movies, wasn't it?
I think so. I think you're right there too. Yeah.
If you want to make another comparison, if you want to put in Zack Snyder's comparison, I think we are reaching the sucker punch phase of the MCU.
Hey, nobody disses short skirts on my stream.
Well, it's my stream though. But look, we've got Andre. Andre's saying this specifically for 300 Norwegian krona. This movie is not only Thor's Batman and Robin, but it's Taika Waititi's Lady in the Water, and I don't think that could be any more eloquently said.
You want to blow me up quickly, Culture? Because I think I made it an image before.
Oh, I see it. I see love.
Wow, Andre's throwing some shade in the chat. He's like, Kat Dennings let herself go. Holy shit.
Yeah, she kind of did.
Andre's in an ornery mood. He's coming out swinging today. Maybe I should back out and let him come in for a bit.
She came in on that scene carrying a whole bunch of snacks, so you pretty much knew where she let herself
two
go.
broke girls and 4 films, and then don't forget her in WandaVision. So yeah,
her boobs can't even save her now because she
exactly
3 of them now.
Oh,
there's a lot. The biggest problem I have with the MCU, especially Disney's part, is like the power levels of the heroes. Like some movies, they're like super powerful, and other movies they're super weak.
Is that a balloon?
No, that's Minisphere.
Being crazy, bro.
No, but the Scapegoat. Another. Wow, it's been a minute. Thanks.
Oh
for being
wow!
here.
If Thor's already getting a post-mortem, that's not good. Usually, these kind of movies, Andre waits for at least a week, unless it's
we got a bot. Hey, Culture, we got a bot.
Yeah,
we got
look, that's more Love and Thunder than Love and Thunder, right there in that
true.
We got mods.
Oh man, I thought that was my sponsor.
I think Andre's like wishing he would have thought more about his review, because he's like, I think he's probably like, I was too nice on the movie. After longer thought,
oh boy,
the better
and thinking more about the movie, I am probably in the sphere of fuck this movie.
I have to say a big thank you. Hey, just a second, gentlemen. I have to say a big thank you to Six, who just gifted 10 Culture Casino memberships.
Yowza.
Six.
Wow.
Thank you. Holy cow.
The thing is, right though, the Scapegoat is actually right here. They wasted on how they introduced Christian Bale's character Gore, and they wasted giving Gore a more prominent role of evil. And honestly, if they focused on that and made it a more detrimental character and used Bale's character more, this film probably would have been a lot more better than watching Dynasty in Love with Thor and Jane. The question is it rewatchable? For me, it's no. I can't watch it again unless I need to empty my bowels. It is,
and that's kind of where I came to whether or not it's worse than Doctor Strange, because I sat there and I thought to myself right after watching, I'm like, would I rather watch this or Doctor Strange if I was forced to have to watch one again? And I'm like, honestly, I think I'd rather sit through Doctor Strange again.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, because the jokes don't even, at least with Ragnarok, I understand people who don't like the movie for what it did to the Planet Hulk story and, you know, what some people feel like it did to Thor and stuff like that. And there is moments where the humor goes too far. This movie is that humor going too far through the entire thing. It feels like a sitcom after a while, full of just bad one-liners. And you can't let anything have any moment of like sincerity, seriousness, or resonance, right? Like the one thing that I remember everybody complaining about Ragnarok is when they're sitting there in Cork's going, well, as long as you have, you know, a foundation to build upon, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then Asgard blows up and he's like, well, that's gone. It's like, that is a prime example of this whole movie, right? Like that's every joke in this movie. It's the ones that don't land and they're poorly timed. And Hulk is and I'll call him Hulk just because he is as dumb as the Hulk. Fucking Thor acts like this hulking moron through the whole movie. And, you know,
Me like love and thunder. Me am safe for everybody.
Yeah, real quick. Neil brings up a point. I do wish we had a proper Planet Hulk movie. I thought that would have been amazing. I'm with you there. Also, we just had another group of gifted subs. I think I tried to highlight it a second ago. Eric K. I guess I forgot the E on Eric. Eric K. gifted 5 Culture Casino memberships. Thank you for that. You guys are on fire. Holy cow.
You guys deserve some kind of celebratory something or other.
Yeah, I wish I had
There you
one.
go.
What you need is another happy birthday. Ready, guys?
Make 5 clown horns just for each sub.
Yeah.
No, I can do this. Boom, baby.
There you go. By the way, Bryce Dallas Howard blew everyone away in The Village long before either Lady in the Water.
Oh, that's right. She was in The Village. That's the one. I knew she was like in one of them. I couldn't
Blind
remember
one,
which.
right? Yeah, that was. I actually liked The Village. Wasn't that
She
bad?
was really, really good.
The Village was kind of meh.
Do you know? They do some kind of amazing makeup or work on her or something, or she just really doesn't care about her appearance when she's directing, because when she's behind the camera, she doesn't look anything like she does in front of the camera. Just an observation from me.
Isn't Bryce Dallas Howard a little bit too young for The Villages, though?
What?
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, was that a woke titty joke? No wonder they're
Oh,
playing.
that's terrible. Escapegoat's like, it should have been much darker, except the beginning with the Guardians clowns and without the
was,
wolf, of course.
But it was dark when they introduced gore. It was dark. I honestly thought, oh my God, like the leaks are wrong. And after that, it was like,
well, and clearly Taika Waititi or whoever wrote this shit didn't really pay much attention to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and or James Gunn is the only one who can write the Guardians of the Galaxy at this point, because these are not the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think it's more the latter than the former. I think
it was just horrible. Like, first of all, the last time we were left off, Star-Lord was like totally wanting to basically be Thor, and now everybody wants to get rid of him. And they don't even Drax. Did he even have one line in the whole fucking thing?
Was Drax even in that?
He was there, but it was like he was barely there. And the bit with Groot and Rocket came off like a shitty like video game cutscene. It was like just
the goats had more lines than Drax. Let's just put it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tom, can you or whoever saw this? My call back when we were talking about this before was that they'd only just be in the one scene during an action scene, basically, and then take off. Was that pretty much what happened?
Yep. Yeah, I think it was you I was referring to when I said whoever had that on their bingo card, you won, because literally damn near everything we've seen in the trailer and in the one scene they released is like 90% of what the Guardians are in the movie.
Yeah, that's
like
a
you've
trick
pretty
for
much seen
anybody.
everything.
Watch a trailer if there are characters that are like, oh, that's super awesome, that character's in this movie. And if you notice that every single clip in that trailer is the same location, that's probably not a good sign. That's what I would say.
Yeah, not.
But they make them all dick holes anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I just expected more from this film, and I haven't seen it. But I mean, his financial performance is what I'm speaking to. I expected it to go beyond my very low expectations, and I mean,
I was honestly expecting like 175 at least.
Yeah, and it barely cleared that bar, the financial bar, which I set very low. When we look at it, I mean, they're touting a $302 million global opening. Let's look at the financials. Let's do
this
that.
movie's got to double that before it's basically profitable.
Oh yeah, well, way before it's 200.
And that ain't gonna happen, guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Doctor Strange was barely profitable, which you could possibly make an argument for Doctor Strange, because I think that one was only 200 million, right?
Right.
This one was 250 million, and I would say they spent twice, or at least close to twice, the advertising budget on this that they did for Doctor Strange. It feels like for me, because this is everywhere I've seen shit for.
Quick question: for most anticipated movies, what is P Island? Oh, you got rid of it. I saw that on the right, and I was like,
"What is what?"
Just if a culture zooms out, it was on the right.
Oh, those most anticipated movies.
Look at the
Pussy Island. Yeah, that one's been on there for a while. We looked that up last time, I think.
My eyes went right to that rather than Thor. That's how much Thor will give you.
Oh no!
Wait a minute, is it War Monkey's birthday too?
Well,
happy birthday, War Monkey.
Is it your monkey birthday?
It says Happy Sunday at War Monkey. I don't know about birthday.
Oh,
okay.
I have a headache. Can
Happy
you guys all have
Sunday
my-
too.
But no,
And
I was going to say something here, but anyway, sorry.
Tom, can I ask you a question with this too? Like with what we have is with Russell Crowe. Like, remember this is the Gladiator we're talking about. They made him into a stereotype Olive Garden style, like Greek in a way, and he's like lifting up his leotard. It was. Oh my god! Like,
the point I was going to make. Go up to the again real quick. Sorry, Culture.
No problem.
Look at that international box office. What is something that even if like domestically we don't always have the best for these movies, they usually perform very well outside of the US.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not, that tells me that this one's not going to do it. This one's going to be lucky to sell. This is going to make about $600 million altogether. That's about it.
Is it going to be a case with Doctor Strange and other films where it's not going to get a China release, or are they going to? Or I see it is getting a China release, but not going to do well there in that region.
They'll have to cut the shit out of it, though.
There's a lot of stuff they'll have to cut.
Okay.
And we like
because this movie isn't necessarily woke, but there's some definite woke elements.
There's some things in here that they're going to have some difficulty with.
You can call me Jane. You can call me Doctor. You can call. Oh my god.
$250 million budget that they are willing to tell you about. That's a lot.
Well, we know there were reshoots too, all those that might be in that budget, but still.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
No.
Yes, please.
Is Tessa Thompson just continue to scowl this entire film, or is
she's not that bad in this?
Okay.
No, she bobs her head when you think it's a grenade.
Honestly, the worst person or worst character in the whole movie is pretty much Thor.
Yeah, they made him crap.
And it's go ahead.
I was gonna say they took away the masculinity of a hero and made him which way did he go, George? That's the way I felt.
That's probably the shittiest part because it's still his movie.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have this, he's finding himself again, and all of a sudden he's dumber than a box of rocks.
Yeah.
Is kind of takes away from.
Why does Thor have to find himself so often in his movies? It's like they don't have a creative idea. It's like every movie, it's like, oh, Thor, you're just like you suck or whatever, and he's like, oh, but I've learned to be better. And even in the Avenger, Infinity War and Endgame, Thor learned to go for the head because he didn't take things seriously enough. And man.
But that's the problem, AFK. Is the fact we're getting a hero here who has had significant loss, not just Asgard, his father, Loki, everything, Heimdall, across the board. Even Jane, if you want to throw it in there, he has lost all these things. And for some reason, none of that is in this character where it makes him feel like all of this loss, I don't want to lose anything else. I'm going to fight for as much as I can. That is not even an adamant characteristic within this.
No, they kind of make him a pathetic loser that nobody wants to be around but Corey.
A high school dance that keeps getting rejected.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. This is from Neil. He says, if you're curious, I watched an Indian movie critic trash this movie and DSU, Doctor Strange 2. Heck, he even made a reference to the MCU. So Marvel's image is getting some dirt globally.
Yeah, there's a lot of the main papers that are basically pointing out that this one is not performing the way it was anticipated.
And so Indian box office is not going to do well either.
Yeah, and Society's going to be joining us tonight on the Late Night Culture show. And he did call it, this is worse than Doctor Strange. Tom was saying the same thing too. You're going to get... if this thing makes $700 million, it might make money. If it makes $600 million, it's not even quite breaking even.
Exactly. I don't think it is actually.
Tim's like, so the marketing budget is probably like 200. No,
I'm willing to bet that. Honestly,
I think it might be a little more than that. To be honest,
you could be right. That's what I'm saying. Is 600 is not even break even for this. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's just about everywhere. I mean, you were right, Tom. I mean, you can't turn on stuff I think every fourth YouTube ad I get is this freaking movie.
Facebook, YouTube, you name it.
Yeah.
They were banking on this movie to make $1 billion, and it's not. It's not going to.
These are the numbers, guys. Look, these are the numbers. Look, its best day. Its best day was the 8th. And
if I could be permitted to interject.
Oh, indeed, of course you can. Here, you can have the floor.
I don't want to be blown up. I just want to have a chance to speak here because I've been trying to get this out edgewise ever since we were talking about opinions. And this is an opinion. This is an objective reality that I'm going to talk about. That is something that everybody needs to realize. I know everybody loves tearing apart. Actually, you can blow me up now if you want because I'm going to be talking about this. Everybody wants to everybody wants to rip apart the MCU films. They want to get on YouTube. And again, I'm not bashing anyone here on this panel, so don't take this personally, or try not to.
Okay.
But everybody hops on here, you know, as of late, you know, they've been going on about MCU and, you know, it's woke this and it's woke that, and, you know, all the comic films are just terrible. When one of the biggest sticking points with all of this is that after Infinity War, MCU effectively was over. Okay. I'm not gonna say it blew its load too early, because it was a good, you know, this was a good 7-8 years build up to Infinity War. They had a few, well, yeah, you know, they had a few stinkers, sure, you know, Thor, Dark World, we all don't talk about that. Iron Man 3 was kind of compared to the rest of them. You know, there were some films that weren't as great as the others. That's going to happen. But given the entire momentum of just, you know, the phase 1, the phase 2, the phase 3, you know, leading up to what effectively became Infinity War. You know, you had Civil War effectively turning the tables against everybody. And then was it Infinity War coming back, bringing everybody back together. You have all of this going on. Infinity War and then Endgame were effectively the culmination of all of the effort built up into this series. Right. Captain Marvel was the fluke, that what was the canary in the coal mine that they tried testing the waters with to sort of deconstruct, you know, the formula as it is, because they were working on the formula for 10 years, you know. Infinity War was the peak. Endgame, you know, it did really well in the films, but you could kind of tell the formula was waning. You know, there's like how do you pronounce your name, dude? Makini?
Asian.
Makini. Yeah, I always forget how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. Like Makini said, Endgame did well, but there were a lot of problems with it. And honestly, one of the problems was it tries to follow Infinity War. It tries to follow a film that could have ended the MCU right then and there. It could have ended it on, you know, the villain wins, tough luck, you know. But it didn't. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is you have all of this buildup over a span of 10, 11 years. That was the point where everything reached the payoff. That was the end of the entire arc. Now you're going into phase 4 with characters that don't mean anything, because they're either dead at the end of Endgame, so their stories go nowhere, or they're just new characters that don't really mean anything to the MCU because it's after the fact. So what we're seeing is just the natural decline of everything. The analogy I made about MCU being in the 80s, being the Western in the 80s, it wasn't just a snarky jab. It was actually a really good example of this. Towards this, you know, 70s and 80s, Westerns were kind of going off and just on the decline. They weren't all that great anymore. Most of them that were coming out were just deconstructions of the formula, because the formula was already played out. You know, they had already had the big hits and Clint Eastwood and, you know, all of them. And yet they were just petering out. They were deconstructions. They weren't all that great. That's what we're seeing with the MCU. It's just deconstructing the formula to try and squeeze a few more dollars out of it, but not really giving a good goddamn about the stories, because there are no more stories to tell.
I feel like when it comes to telling stories, there are good stories to tell. Like for these, even I think they're impatient, because they took a very long time, like you were saying, building up the series, you know, with movie to movie, and it picked up pace towards the end. But the problem is now it's like, I would say instead of phase 4, we should be calling it volume 2, because this feels like a completely different series in the same world, same characters, but instead of trying to take their time and build it up, they're from the very beginning saying, look for all this through line, all of this like secret things that are going to be from movie to movie. You'll know ahead of time that we're planning this, instead of like even leaving that mystery up to us. Like when we watch Iron Man 2, we weren't expecting to, you know, have like Captain America mentioned or something like that. You know, like there's these things that like they used to be able to fit in and tease and build with, and now they're just like, I don't know. I think that's the problem.
But
I think I know why
of...
that is. And you're not wrong. Neither one of you, actually. I think you're both right. And I think the problem is it's not so much that that Marvel movies or comic book movies in general should be at that place basically where they were in the 70s and 80s, even though that was the same kind of point I was making before. They've done it to themselves at this point.
Yeah.
This is the problem is between not just the woke factor, but like you just said, they did kind of blow a wad in Infinity War, but that doesn't mean it had to be the end. What happened is a lot of behind the scenes bullshit that got in the way on top of the political nonsense and everything like that. Because the original plan was to go cosmic after Infinity War. So there are tons of stories to tell. But basically what you have to do after Infinity War is now that's where the bar is set, right? And these movies, box office wise, were actually going in the direction they should be going. We were getting to the point where every one of these Marvel movies were making $1 billion or more, right? And then all of a sudden they hit this speed bump. And that speed bump was Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Eternals in a row. And this is what Andre and I and other people have tried to warn people before when people go, oh, is the MCU done, or what's going to take to kill the MCU? And as we've said, it's going to take 3 or 4 of these movies in a row. And then you add Doctor Strange and Thor now to that mix on top of the lackluster MCU TV shows. They have oversaturated the shit is what they have done. They have pushed so much out there so fast, and it's all garbage. And as Neil said in the chat, that's the problem. It's directionless. They lost the direction they were going. They have not set up any major obstacle coming up here in any way, shape, or form that we can really see. They've been meandering in this multiverse shit for the last phase because they've had nowhere to go, because they've been trying to clean up the mess of losing James Gunn. And now Guardians of the Galaxy 3, instead of it being one of the big kickoffs of phase 4, is now going to be the end cap of phase 4. And I've been saying this from the start. You watch, most of what's going to happen going forward is probably all going to be set up in that movie. Like, because look at Thor. Not getting into any spoilers, but it's a pretty... The one thing I will say about Thor that I can give it praise for, it's a fairly self-contained sequel. You have really... There's not much outside of the Thor movies and the Infinity Saga, and maybe, like, at least to be familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and even that's not that important. Because if you see them, at least in the Infinity Saga and all that kind of stuff, you know enough about them probably that at this point, at least this movie, you can go into it having only seen those 4 or 5 movies and not be lost, right? Yeah. So it has that going for it. But the problem you have now is the expectation. Now we're getting back to expectations. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has set up this expectation that all these movies are so interconnected that none of them have set anything up going forward. And the only movie that has had any kind of repercussions one way or the other has been WandaVision and Doctor Strange.
And they are paralyzed. They are paralyzed by their success, Tom. And I hate to interrupt you mid.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
But Makini needs to actually slide out of here. So I need him to promote what he's about to go do, because everybody should help him celebrate if you can.
There's the boomer count. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here, and I'm so happy to be here. Yeah. Right after this is the 900 subscriber celebration. It's gonna be me, my co-host Bruce and Mads, and then just a whole cavalcade of so many guests stopping by to celebrate. And I got something, and I've been working on it in the background. I've been up since 6 this morning on this one, and I've been working all week on it. So you'll see the full reveal on Makini Live. I look forward to seeing you guys there. And again, I can't thank y'all enough for this moment, and I cannot believe we're getting this close. So let's celebrate, man. Let's celebrate. One more celebration for the big one. So
there we go.
All right. I'll see y'all there. Thank y'all for being here. Love you guys so much.
Yeah,
see you, Mark.
Yeah. Go check that out. Thank you, Eric K, for throwing that up on the stream. I appreciate it. And we're getting very close to wrapping up. So I'm kind of interested in everybody's final thoughts. And I'm going to start with Lorena, because she has been not able to speak because we've been really chatty. So Lorena, please wrap up your final thoughts.
For me, the final thought I would say is this is finally the first MCU movie that I have zero interest in seeing in the theaters. As far as I'm concerned, the MCU has lost me. I should have been done with with Endgame, but I'm no longer I'm no longer interested, and it's a shame. I never thought, like say when I first saw Iron Man all those years ago, that this is what the MCU was going to wind up being. So it's a shame, but I'm not interested in seeing this.
So you haven't even seen it yet, Lorena.
I have not and have zero plans to. I will see it when it comes on Disney Plus, but I'm not going out of my way. I mean, just to contrast, I had a chance to see two movies last week out of three possible ones. Two that I went to go see was Minions, and I went to go see Elvis, and had an absolutely, absolutely fabulous time. There's just nothing with Thor: Love and Thunder that interests me at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe Chris Hemsworth's the hindsight.
Here's the thing about that, and we talked about this on Toxic Femininity. It's a cheap joke.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like he was working out and he got so thin that, you know, his pants fell down and you could see his bare ass. That actually would have been funny. But with the whole thing with them showing him naked, it was a joke. It was a really, really bad joke. And you put him
If
in
that
that
had been
kind
a
of
woman,
costume.
right?
That's what I was going to get to. If that would have been a woman, people would have been up in freaking arms about it. But it wasn't done well, and it was insulting, done for cheap laughs, and I'm really sick and tired of the MCU trashing beloved characters. Thor became one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and what they've done to him is basically emasculated him, and I'm not interested in seeing that anymore.
Well, I think a lot of people are joining you, Lorena. You have a lot going on your channel. Do you want to do a quick elevator? So that we can-
Oh, yeah, sure. Actually, for tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, Welcome to Florida show. Very excited about this. We are going to be talking about some good Florida man stories. Yes, they are out there, but don't make the press as much as the crazy stuff does. So we've got a couple stories to talk about with regards to that. And if you are going to be attending the Geeks and Gamers meetup in Orlando in October, we're going to be doing some planning talks. So please bring your questions about where to stay, how to get there, what's there to do,
Oh yeah.
all of that. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So please do come out for that. Of course, Monday, Toxic Femininity, 8:30, not 8:30, 8 o'clock. I'll be late. 8 p.m. Eastern over on Midnight Edge. You can see me with her and Nita Infinity. And of course, Tom will be there as well. Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern on my channel, we are having our monthly theme park therapy stream along with Culture, and Chris Gore and Theme Park Casual is going to be joining us for that as well. Let's see, 8 o'clock that same night. I'm actually supposed to, oh, sorry. Yeah, 8 o'clock. I'm supposed to be on Urban's channel. We are reviewing the Indian movie Joda Akbar. So we have that going on. Really, really cool. 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday, Dark Council on Drunk 3PO's Basement channel. So please do join me for that one as well. Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch, the Toxic Male Appreciation Show. We're going to start our series of watch parties and reviews of the Terminal List. So every week we are going to be watching and reviewing an episode of the Terminal List, that amazing, amazing series over on Amazon featuring Chris Pratt. Friday, I'm actually off, which is nice to know. And Saturday, of course, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., I'll be streaming live from Epcot in the Norway Pavilion. So I'm going to take you guys over through there. It's going to be really, really interesting. And Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, watch party, going to be watching Top Gun. So, yeah, that's my week.
Oh, wow. You make me look lazy, and I thought I was busy. Well done, Lorena.
Dude, I think your elevator speech is still
month.
longer than mine.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was an elevator hitting every floor, but well done. And next to Lorena, I'm gonna get Fat Steven's thoughts, final wrap up thoughts on Thor and his elevator. What's up, man?
You can catch me on my channel. Sometimes I'm on Twitch, Pop Culture Minefield. Primetime Kings is on hiatus. Troy Pacelli is going to rebook me for another time. I'm all over the place. Lunch Table will eventually come back, and I can harass Lorena like usual.
Yay!
Thank you for that. That's great. Also, thank you for being the best chat on YouTube. I'm gonna get copyright struck by Wes, but thank you.
Yeah, well, there you go. And
It's open
your
source.
final thoughts on
As
Thor?
you should be.
Oh, get me $500 with my Love and Thunder.
Very good. All right. Well, right below me is the incredible AFK Bard. Final thoughts and anything you want to promote, AFK?
If you want to go and watch it because you want to watch it, I say go for it. I mean, people have been enjoying it. It's so I don't want to like dog on people for that. I don't know. Aside from that, I'm kind of just sad with where the MCU is going in general, but I'm starting to look at it more of like, I don't know. I try to look at it more of like how comics were or supposed to be at some point, where there were individual series for each character, and occasionally they would have like a crossover, and you didn't have to read Iron Man if you were only a fan of Captain America. And so it's like, if you're a Thor fan, go in and give it a try, whatever, that's cool. But I guess my frustration, and I think I didn't really say it before, was that they're putting all of their stuff into these movies now and trying to make everything interconnected. And I think that was a huge issue with a lot of the comics, was that they kept doing more and more like series crossovers, like 10-part event. You have to know what's going on in all these different series, and it's like you can lose a lot of people in doing something like that because they don't want to pick it up if they don't know what the heck is going on with it. And I think that with these movies, it's almost taken, like they're just assuming at this point you kind of understand what is going on with the MCU, and they're like trying to shoot off with all of this like back end information that you have. But a lot of people, I think, that are actually enjoying these newer movies are maybe younger and actually never watched the first ones, because if you think of how long they've been going with all these movies, there are probably kids who were born after the first 3 Iron Man movies that are watching it now. So I don't know. I guess the long-winded way of saying I'm not happy with where it's going, but I do see that there are people who do see it. So if you want to go watch it, and follow everybody here and support them. Sorry.
Thank you, AFK. By the way, we have a very special guest joining us here at the end, the boss man himself, Andre.
Hey, greetings everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know what? You can actually clear up a lot of this Thor thing for us.
You just have to you have to give me details, and because I haven't been listening the past since I sent the super chat actually.
Oh wow!
Because I've been deep in writing the follow-up video for it. But just give me the question. I'll be happy to.
Okay, all right. So your thoughts, and because Tom communicated to us that you desired to be more harsh on the film after
said that I can imagine you're sitting there now going, I was too easy on Thor Love and Thunder. I have now reached the point of fuck this movie.
Actually, not quite. I mostly stand by my review. Mostly I stand by it. There are things that irk me about it more now. It's not that I really want to tear it apart. I do stand by. This is Batman and Robin. This is The Lady in the Water. It is both of those. But at the same time, I can't deny that as I was watching it, I had fun. I was laughing. I was smiling. I had a good time. Problem was, I was laughing. I was smiling. I was having a good time when I shouldn't have. So I was smiling, laughing, and having fun for all the wrong reasons.
Wow.
All right. Who are you and why did you replace Andre? And can I get a raise?
You'll see that it's still me when you get the scripts here. But
oh, I know. Well, it's going to be more like this is going to be a juggling act right now. So yeah.
Yeah, but no, really, because I had fun with it. It made me laugh. It cheered me up partially until it didn't anymore. When I was like chuckling against myself. because there were like just so many stupid things, and there are things now that I wish that some producers would have said that no, we can't do that. Like for instance, this whole MacGuffin of eternity, and I was very happy to see eternity in the movie. I mean, that's like a great concept from the comics. But when you have something like that, you just go to the center of the universe and you hook up with this guy, and the first thing that that you ask of him, he has to give you. I mean, what kind of stupid rule is that? I mean, is this some kind of genie in the bottle kind of thing? What the hell is up with that? And also, if that's been there the whole time, why didn't you use that to defeat Thanos? Or better yet, why didn't
That's
Thanos
what I was thinking.
Go to him directly and wish for half the universe to be annihilated on a regular basis? I mean, what's the point of those Infinity
Especially when
Gems?
it's such a piss poorly kept secret, because like everybody seems to know where it's at, and Jane of all people figures out how to open it, and they all get there pretty quick.
It's the Infinity Stone paperweights all over again, you know? They
Yeah,
introduce a
kind
big
of,
power,
kind of.
and you're like, why didn't we use it? And it's just like, it breaks canon in a way.
Well, they
It's
have
not
that
just-
same kind of instant rate in the movie itself, because that goes along with, not to get into too many spoilers, but you know, like there's a character that has a way of communicating through Thor telepathically, let's say.
Yeah.
That they use that throughout the entire film until it really could come in handy at the end, and then all of a sudden they forget how to use it. It's just that's a prime example of this movie. Sorry, Andre.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly, those are like the things that I'm like afterwards. I'm like, hang on a minute, I didn't fully realize the implications of all of these things when I first read my review, which like I wrote down like 45 minutes after coming out of the theater. But you need time to digest movies. There were like things that I hadn't like fully thought through, which makes it more stupid. Like I thought it was stupid to begin with, but it's even worse because there was some of this the stupidity and the lack of continuity and all of that hadn't really hit me. And you can tell that this movie was produced by Victoria Alonso because it has one thing in common with Doctor Strange, and that is that this movie is also subversive. It's also all about identity politics and stuff like that. It's just less overt about it. It's more subtle about it. You don't notice it right away, but it's there. And those are like the things that I didn't pick up on explicitly the first time I saw it, but I noticed it more when I thought back on it. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the post-mortem right now, because this movie, it's underperforming. And the second weekend numbers are going to be brutal, more brutal than Doctor Strange.
Oh.
And Doctor Strange is a movie that when you look at the opening weekend box office for Doctor Strange, it only needed medium word of mouth to sail to $1 billion. And it fell 200 million short of that. Whereas this one comes in way behind Doctor Strange.
Well,
and if it has a similar second weekend drop, it's going to be brutal.
Andre, I put up on the screen the current performance of the film day to day.
Well, and it needs to be
Yeah, we should have some comparison numbers here because I see like the numbers, and those numbers, they look really good on their own, but this is like where you need context, like to compare them
we'll do that.
Compare them with Spider-Man and with Doctor Strange, and that's when we're going to see the truth here.
Well, but I was pointing out the fact that it was already falling off day to day from Friday. Yeah. Let's see where.
Well, the Friday numbers were a huge disappointment. When you do 29 million on Friday and you only do 40, or on Thursday and you only do 40 on Friday, there's a big drop.
That's word of mouth. And this movie right here, it has a cinema score of what? B? Was it that? B minus?
B right now.
B, yeah. And that doesn't sound bad until you realize that the only movies that get a cinema score of B are utter crap movies with other shit word of
In
mouth.
comparison, Eternal's got a B minus.
Exactly.
Okay,
they also had a boost with the WandaVision for the other one, because people who wouldn't usually watch Doctor Strange, who maybe watched WandaVision, probably went to see that movie, you know? So I don't know. I feel like that talking about word of mouth, you know, maybe people aren't as keen on Thor anymore because I don't know, Wanda.
Well,
I think it's more a matter of the MCU. I think that Doctor Strange made people more wary of the MCU, and this is also coming from Disney. Disney with their not so secret agenda that everyone knows of now.
Well, and I was just going to say, like, the big difference here is you had Doctor Strange. I think the only reason Doctor Strange did as well as it did, it was built off the momentum of Spider-Man No Way Home, and we were promised, or at least thought there was going to be all these cameos, and we did get a few cameos.
And they did cut some other ones.
Yeah. But I'm saying is I think that's what helped that film overall. And at the beginning of the show, before you dropped in, Andre, my first point was this is Thor, right? They can't even use the excuse now that, oh, well, it was Shang-Chi. Nobody knows who Shang-Chi is. So of course it's not going to make $1 billion. It's
exactly.
Like,
this is an OG hero. Like all excuses are out the window here. Not only is it Thor, it is the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they are not OG heroes, but of the newcomers, they're the most popular.
And that's not helping the box office at all, I don't think. Yeah.
No, but it should.
We're looking at the comparison numbers here as requested. So you have Thor: Love and Thunder's beginning and its budget. Spider-Man
to begin with, it's much more expensive than the others. Of course, in the case of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I'm not convinced that the price of reshoots are included there. I think that there they have the original production budget, whereas the reshoot budget, that would have blown that right through that. But I can well believe that Thor: Love and Thunder had an initially much higher budget, which means that it has more money to make back. Of course, it's not going to lose money. I'm not saying that. This is not what I'm saying at all. But what's scary about it from Marvel's point of view or from Disney's point of view is that these numbers already, what we see here is a downward trend.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if this movie grosses them or nets them in the end 200 million when they were expected it would net them 500 million. They're still in the plus, so that's all good and well. But the problem is if this one nets them 300 million less than expected, the next one could net them 400 million less than expected, and the one after that could lose them 100 million.
I don't know, Andre. I was making the argument earlier. That they were banking, like literally banking on this movie making $1 billion. If you look at it, they spent $250 million on it, and I guarantee you they spent close to that, if not more than that, on the advertising. So right there, that puts themselves in a position where it has to clear close to $1 billion to be profitable, basically.
Yeah.
I don't understand the reasoning behind this. Like, I don't know. This is probably a really dumb, mundane question, but like when they have successful movies that are on smaller budgets, they make a lot of money because they didn't spend as much money on them, right? Like, I mean, with the money that they have and the access that they have, why aren't they focusing on making lower budget movies just for the sake that wouldn't that sensibly mean you make more money if you make a good movie?
Because for every, everything everywhere all at once that you get as a successful, like out of nowhere sleeper hit, you have 1 billion crapshoots. And unfortunately, when it comes to these kind of movies, they'll rather spend $250 million on guaranteeing they might make, 50 to 100 to $300 million off that in the end of clear profit, than take a chance on spending 5, 10, 15, $20 million or more on a non-IP film and lose that 30, $40 million and then some, because the advertising budget also will double or quadruple that, right? Like John Wick is another one of those rare occurrences in history where, I mean, that movie could have stood to lose some money because I think it still had a budget of like probably $30 million, the original one, probably close to it, if not more. And, to make a profit, that movie basically had to make like $100 million, right? But that was a huge success, so it made a bunch of money, and they made a bunch of sequels. Those sequels, the prices went up because they knew they were going to be able to make money on them. Like, that used to kind of just be like the thing it is like the guarantee. That's why they're called tent poles, because those movies basically hold the tent up over everything else in case it fails. but you hope and pray that you'll get a Joker or an
So
Everything Everywhere all
Marvel-
at once.
So
Yeah.
Disney's kind of like upselling itself at this point. Like it's trying to keep its price inflated, thinking it is worth it when it's kind of not at this point. Am I like looking at this any close?
Maybe, but it's kind of like with this. Disney doesn't really make low budget fare. They don't. They just don't. Even their television shows are still budgeted at the movie level. Like, unless you're talking about their Disney Channel type stuff with like their sitcoms and stuff like that, all their movies, the animated films, all this stuff, it's either Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, or whatever. They don't even really make flat Disney movies anymore, it feels like, just outside of when they do drop the animated film every once in a while.
Yeah, except what was the last one they dropped?
I can't think of one. We got one coming up, and that is the Hocus Pocus 2, and that's being dropped straight to Disney Plus, and I can't understand why.
Well, probably because it's not very good, but
it may be the case, but they've got that's the point. They've got I hate the first one, but I know that movie's got a following like a mofo that you've got the original cast back. How are you not releasing this in theaters and making yourself a hell of a profit?
I don't know.
But we got to get rolling here. I know that. So anyway.
Yeah, and I hate to do that, especially with Andre just joining us. But when I look at these numbers in comparison, and thank you for some good comparisons, Andre. It's more than diminishing returns. Spider-Man No Way Home is the gold standard for Marvel films. There are a few of them for Marvel films, but Spider-Man No Way Home was the most recent example.
Wasn't that a Sony film, not really a Marvel film?
It's still Marvel label, Marvel story. It's just
exactly. It's a Sony and Marvel co-production. Yeah. If you want to look at a pure Sony non-Marvel, that's Venom and Morbius. That's pure Sony non-Marvel.
Okay.
The Spider-Man.
Even there, they still have some say in attachment, though. That's not even 100% anymore. So,
yeah. And look, this film is already diminished. If you look day to days, its first Friday is 69.5, Saturday 42, Sunday 31. It's already headed downwards. What's it going to look like a weekend from now when it's got? What do you think, Andre? 69% fall off.
I don't know about 69, because here's the thing. This movie doesn't open high enough to warrant a 69.
Yeah.
Whereas you have to just consider that Doctor Strange opened higher, and just because it opened higher, there's going to be more people not checking it out in the second weekend. So I think that it's going percentage-wise, I would expect it to be right around the same level as Doctor Strange. But that's bad, because Doctor Strange opened so much higher. Whereas here, you see the drop-off already. You see a higher drop-off from Thursday to Friday and from Friday to Saturday than what we usually would see with these movies.
Yeah.
Which means that the word of mouth kicked in already in the opening weekend.
It's amazing. Well, I don't anticipate good numbers for this overall. I think it's going to very much disappoint. But we unfortunately have to continue wrapping the show. I wish we had more time. I wish I did. I wasn't pressed. But Andre, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to tout? Obviously, you're doing a retro. You're putting a post-mortem together for this film.
Yeah, because I see it as you can argue that it's too premature to do a post-mortem on it already, but I would equate it to the Titanic. The moment that the Titanic hit the iceberg, everything seemed fine for the next 2 hours. But you could start writing the post-mortem already then, because everything else was a mathematic certainty.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And I can't wait for that video. I guess I won't have to wait long since you're writing it and Tom won't be sleeping to edit it. So that'll be great.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And then
the PC's on life support right now.
Oh, that's not good news. All right.
No, it's not.
I know I didn't get to the Atlantean yet. I know I let him get a rant out there. Is there anything you want to promote at Atlantean?
Just the Mortal Kombat video I put on my channel. That's it.
And by the way, since I saw the first version of that and can tell you that it's really awesome, I guarantee you the finished version of it is even better. So go check it out. The
Redux.
The redo, whatever. I like the first one, but hey, I'm spoiled. But check that out. It's amazing. He's very talented. He doesn't do enough work, and I appreciate him. So, Mirror Sphere's Origin, did you get a chance to do your elevator and out? Okay.
Nope,
Final
not
thoughts and out, please, quickly.
My final thoughts real quick would be, if you expect the Marvel movies to be like Phase 1, you're not going to get it, because it's not the same company who did the first Marvel movies, because Disney didn't come until later. And we all know that Disney has no talented writers whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't expect much from them. Plus, Stan Lee's gone. And after Stan Lee died, Marvel is pretty much shit. Because just like the comic book industry, all the good writers have either been chased out, thrown out, or just left out and went nuts. And now we just got a bunch of fucking losers who can't write shit. But if you want to read a good book, my book is out.
There it is. Well done.
So I'll put a link in the description again. Please try to get my book, read it, tell me what you think, and yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Mirrorsphere, and for being.
Also, I did my first lore video. It is on my channel. It's about 5 minutes. So,
fantastic.
Definitely go watch it.
And then, of course, I think the last person here is going to be Shellbach, and Tom will be the finalist in the wrap-up committee. So we have Shell. What do you want to talk about?
I'm encourage everyone to tune into Lorena's show later on. I definitely am going to, because I have already made my hotel reservations for the G&G October meetup. So I'm interested to know if the best deal I could find was good enough, or if I could have done better. But besides that, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time, please tune into my channel. I'm doing my Yelling at Park Cars warm up, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to talk about, but it is a current event type of show, so whatever's been going on here lately could be on the plate. And other than that, please send turtle wax.
There you go.
Shell will thank you.
There you go. Thanks, Shell. And of course, we
make sure you go to Machini.
That's right. Yeah, actually, I was going to wrap up with that. We've got Tom Connors and Midnight's Edge. Tom, anything you want to promote before we call this a day?
Just check out our video whenever it comes out here. We got the morning show tomorrow. I believe we have Chris Gore on. We usually have him as our scheduled Monday guest, and of course you and a few other people always drop by as well sometimes.
Absolutely.
Other than that, just the normal stuff. Thank you, Andre, for hopping in for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was great pleasure for all of you to be here, and for every one of you out there in the audience, thank you all for being here. Special thanks to Andre for showing up for a few moments of his valuable time, because I know how precious it is.
Glad to meet him.
And I do want to express this. Please do go check out Machini's stream, which is already underway. Do support him. He's so close to 1,000 subscribers. He could certainly use the push. That would be as many people in there as possible, and maybe get a little algorithmic bump. We also have another celebration happening this evening over on Corey, otherwise known as Sir Toxalot's channel, later in the day as well. He has crossed a barrier on his channel, and he's celebrating that as well. So do check that out as well. So do check that out if you get the opportunity. And with that, I will wrap the stream the same way I always do. I will say, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it is good hygiene. And until next time,
wash your butt.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
The stream is sponsored by Captain Marvel 2.
No! Oh, and hey, I forgot. There's 2 super chats I wanted to get to first.
I was going to say, didn't you have super chats?
For $2 said Midnight's Edge India when? CC missed my second super chat. I'm sorry, Pinochet. And we've got Eric Winberg for $5 saying, wow, look at this panel. It was glorious indeed. You guys are incredible. Thank you for all the support.
And also, I'll say, Midnight's Edge India, when Culture Casino has the time to run it.
I would love to do that. That would be great. I don't have time to do anything.
That'd be awesome.
It will end up on his build channel. How do I build another channel?
That's right.
Or you got to find me an Indian Pauly.
Yeah, check out the latest show tonight. It should be fun. Welcome to Florida. It's always a hoot and a half. Have a great night.
That's the merch.
This channel is sponsored by Your Soul.
Casino show.
Tune in next week where we have Bray Lawson.
It's time to go.
And
her toes.
And Megan Fox's thumbs.